What is up, profitable stylists? Here we go this week. It is a unique link each week because each video is a unique video, and each topic is such an exhilarating topic to talk about, just like today's.
Welcome to our cooking show. We're going to tell you, I can't find the camera, how to eat pretzels.
It's very artistic. You're eating it very artistically.
Filled with peanut butter.
Now you're just doing a sales pitch. Now you just lost me on the artistry.
Today we're going to talk about, are you a salesman or not? Are salesmen good or bad? What is a salesman? I'm not a salesman. I could never be a salesman. And are you a salesman?
I am not. I am an artiste. I'm not just an artist. I am an artiste.
I got to go. Yeah.
I have been very outspoken against this idea that we're all artists and we're not salesmen. So I'm going to try to take the artist side of things a little bit, and I'm going to try to make an argument for it, but I'm not going to do very good. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Do you think it's funny the way you say that? I don't know if you believe this or not, but you almost say it like, and I think a lot of people do believe this, that you can only be one or the other. You can only be an artist. Is my hand in there? Or a salesman. You can't be.
You're going to figure out this mirroring eventually.
You can't be both. I know. If I'm trying to center up of like, oh, look, I'm out of center. Let me get more in the center. And I try to move towards the center. I go the wrong way. We're using a new streaming thing that reverses it. And I can't figure out where the center is. I wonder if there's something you can do to reverse that where, anyway, it doesn't matter.
We'll play around with it. We'll play around with it.
Are you a salesman? Do you think you can be? Because I think in the hair business, I mean, we could talk about a few other areas of sales, but let's talk just about hairdressers for a minute. We both teach classes and we hear it so often, and that's why we get so mad, because we work for companies that have to sell a product or a service to stay alive. Now, in my case, I'm one of the owners. We sell hair extensions, among a few other things, but extensions is a big one. I didn't just start selling extensions because I thought, oh, you know what? People want extensions and I could take advantage of them and make money selling it. No, I loved the product myself. I was using it. I was making money doing it because I knew customers wanted it. And a company said, you want to cover a territory in your area? I'm like, that's a great idea because I know hairdressers love hair extensions. Customers love hair extensions. And I could make money. So I didn't feel guilty about it. But I think a lot of people think that, first of all, people that sell stuff are bad. Like you're just doing that to take advantage of people, to take their money. But when the fact is, oh, I got to click on comments over here so I can see if anybody comments. When the fact is you have to make money to survive, to eat. And not everybody that's selling stuff sells stuff to take advantage of people, although some are. And that's where the negativity, I think, comes in. But many times people like myself are selling things because I know people want it anyway. And I see like a gap in the market and I'm thinking I could make money and survive better or at all if I helped provide that product or service in the gap. Now, if I show that I'm even better than some other people, maybe I can make even more money. That's how I looked at sales, was like, fix a need. I asked you for the definition earlier. The definition for me is more like recognizing the wants or needs of people and then fixing that problem, finding the problems and solving them. And in hair, it's like, that's what the consultations form is for. What's going on? And when they say the things they don't like or didn't like in the past or problems they're having, if I can fix them, I'm making money. I fix them for money. That's
how you're defining sales. Okay.
Yeah, that's the trade. And I don't feel bad about that at all. Do you?
I think I defined it kind of similarly. I was saying to you earlier that to me,
it was good.
Yeah. Sales to me is you have a goods or a service and you are offering it to somebody else in some form of an equivalent exchange where you are satisfied and they are satisfied, whether it's from an experience or a monetary value. That to me is what sales is.
What I love about that answer is I've gone into salons that charge $10, $8 for a haircut. And in that same New York City, I was in a salon that charged $500 for a man's haircut. And in both cases, the person felt like they got what they wanted. They got
So
what,
here's to that point. I
yeah,
was in New York. I was mentoring in New York at the time. I was young. And my mentor takes me to dinner and he says to me, he goes, "Where are you at with your haircuts right now?" And at that time I was at $45 and he was at $250. Now I'm talking 25 years ago
in the same salon.
in the same salon.
Right.
So even at $45 back then, that was amazing. That was insane. Okay. Because the average haircut back then was, back then was $20 for a men's haircut because barbers were still doing $5 haircuts back then. They're still doing $5 haircuts now, but they were doing $5 haircuts back then, and doing $20 was considered wow. I was doing 45 in his salon and he was charging 250. And he says to me, he goes, "What's the difference between you and I haircut?" I said, "You're the owner." He goes, "Nah."
You're more
I go, "You're
expensive.
better than me?" He goes, "Nah." I'm like, "Well, I hope you're better than me." And he starts laughing and he goes, "No, but that's not the real reason." He goes, "I'm asking for it. And there is a price for everybody out there, kiddo. Ask what you want and you will receive what you get, well, what you want, and you'll get what you get." He goes, "But make sure you're able to give it back to the person that's giving." And I'm like, "What the hell does that even mean?" And at
What?
being 20, 21, I'm like, that made no sense to me. I did not understand what that meant.
Right.
But man, that was really profound back then. And then it's profound now. I think so. That it still holds weight. Those words still hold weight even today.
Yeah. And to me, I love to use the most extreme examples because they're easier to understand. And it like Guy Tang, watching his when he you don't see him around as much these days, but when he was first popping and getting big on social media, he did it himself. First I'm sure he had help, but he advertised and marketed himself to get the fame he got. And I'm trying to figure out, like, where is he? What's he doing? What's he charging? How many clients is he doing? How often? And the best I could figure out is he's in a room. I don't know if it's a bedroom at his house, a salon suite type of situation, but it's one little room where he's working by himself. When they pan the camera around, you don't see any other hairdressers. So it's a private area, right? So that's part of the allure, right? It's, I am going to Guy Tang, who's also going to put me on social media. So I'm also going to be a couple of things. Negative people might think exposed and people will know where I go and not like it, but positive people or attention seekers are going to be like, I'm going to be semi-famous. I'm going to be on camera with him. I'm going to be shown on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everybody's going to see my hair, and my friends are going to know that I go to the guy who charges a lot. At least up is up. Like, one way is the wrong way, the other way is the wrong way on here, but up and down is like, I don't, why this backwards thing? I'm backwards this way, but not this way. So anyway, I don't know what Guy charges. I heard some rumors of some people getting their hair done and saying they spend around $2,500. And so I think he probably just does one client for the day because he's doing he's got to pay for cameras, lighting, video editing, and he's making a couple $1,000s or more to spend on that one client. But it comes along with fun, antics, probably drinking, just having a cocktail or whatever. They're dancing. I mean, you see him twerking in the videos. He gets the client dancing also. So it's an experience. It's an experience, and probably half a day or 3/4 of a day. And they're doing a lot of video at the same time. And so is that worth $2,500 to a person to get their hair done when they could spend two
To
or
some
300?
people, that there are people out there that it is worth it to them. And then there are people that it's not, but that's
Right.
for the individual person,
Right.
That's
And
the beauty of it.
I agree. So when people say I am not a salesman, what do you think they mean? Like when you're teaching a hair extension class and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. Nobody's asking me for hair extensions." Ooh, that's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, nobody. I don't have a business for it. Nobody in my area wants it. Nobody talks about it. Nobody's asking me for it. Nobody's walking in for it. And I say to them, I says, "Does anybody even know that you do it?" "Well, no." I go, "Do you leave your coloring out on your station for people to even see and question what that is?" I go, no. I'm like, okay, then how is anybody supposed to know to ask you about it then if you don't even talk about it yourself? If it's a secret, then nobody's ever going to know. You can't hold secrets from people. You got to let them know. Okay, how does anybody know you do haircuts? They see you cutting somebody else's hair.
What do you mean you can't hold secrets? I have a lot of secrets.
I'm saying secret services from the clients that
Right.
you want
They're
them
gonna
to
guess what you
actively
do, right?
ask for. Oh, I'm going to hide my color bowls and brushes back there. I don't want anybody to ever know I apply hair color.
So you know what
And then
that
it's like,
does for me? I love being old because of the experiences, okay? Because I remember being a confused, brand new hairdresser at like 21 years old. I couldn't figure this business out. I didn't even know hair shows existed. I became a hairdresser in Slidell, Louisiana. I was a hairdresser for 5, 6, 7 years. And somewhere in the first 3 or 4 years, I start realizing there's little Paul Mitchell shows, local stuff. And then I get invited to a bigger one they're in. And I'm like, what is this? So you grow and you learn. And I was so confused about everything and kind of understanding even further back than my life on this earth. I started to realize, like, where did hair start, which is a really fun topic to go over. Like, when I say hair, I mean, obviously we've always been growing hair, but the hair industry, like controlling hair, started with the barber shop way back when. And so let's just go into our lifetime. We know that people feel like they need to get haircuts for what reason? That's a whole nother topic, social pressures, the job, schools. We got to look the part, for the most part. Some little trends that come in where men can grow longer hair, do man buns and get away with it. Some people are going to grow full faces of hair nowadays, but for a long time you couldn't. So when you go to a salon, what did I lose? You got bored? You sleeping?
No, I'm making notes. You said something pretty cool. I'm making notes so I don't forget for later.
Yeah. So where did this whole thing start? And that's what I realized in the beginning of my career. I got a job as a hairdresser, not knowing that I need to be a salesman because I don't even really know what that means. And I'm in the salon, and the only thing that people ask for or come in there for are the things that salon has popularized. Lucky for me, it's a JCPenney salon, and they do more than just haircuts. Because if I went to work at a barber shop, I'd probably be just doing amazing barbering cuts on men. But I went to a salon where they did a little bit of color and highlights, but mostly haircuts and nails. And so people came in and asked for a manicure, a haircut, maybe color, and we do it. And I thought that's what being a hairdresser meant. Sit, wait. When they ask, I do it. And then I started to realize that the way money is really made is those few hairdressers that tell the client, like you said, that they can do more, want to do more, and can do it on them. And a lot of times the clients want it. And that was the secret of my success in the beginning. That was the beginning, a little teeny tiny bit of sales. Like you said, just letting them know that you freaking do it. So I remember the color trainers coming in and they do a class, and not a lot of people were getting color at the time. This is about 33 years ago. And so the color trainers would say, now look around in a restaurant or any environment where there's a crowd. Every single person in this room can benefit from color or highlights or lowlights. It's your job to let them know. And I thought, that's pretty powerful. So I took that into the extension world, because if I'm just waiting for people to ask, they're just getting haircuts. We fast forward 30 years, let's fast forward 20 years. People will ask for color and highlights because now you can look around and almost everybody in the room is benefiting from color, highlights, or lowlights. You rarely even see this word that used to be common, like on the color book charts, they talk about virgin hair. We hardly have virgin hair anymore, rarely. We got two guys on a two guys chat right here, and we don't have virgin hair. We both have color in our hair. Mine's mostly grown out and I need to get some, but there's hardly a such thing as virgin hair anymore. And that wasn't always the case. So now we'll fast forward to now. Yes, extensions have become so popularized that there are some, very little, people coming into salon and asking about it. But I know you want to talk so bad, but
I have a question for you about extensions.
If you just let them know that you do it, you will sell more of them. And to me, that is sales. the beginning of sales. But go ahead. What's your question?
What's this story about nobody in my area gets extensions?
Ask Bernard if he remembers that nobody in my area gets extensions. So there's a lot. I get that quite a bit, actually. But the very first time I don't even know if this is the one he's talking about, but the very first one I ever got was in Oklahoma. And this lady, I think I did the class in.
Look at this comment. Is this the story? Is this the one?
How many extensions in the country was across the street from her? Oh, that was in New York more recently. Yeah, there's a lot of these stories across the country. It just drives me freaking crazy. So this one was one of our top buyers in the whole country, and it's not in New York City, but it's upstate New York. You travel up a little ways, and it's a smaller town, but still, their small towns are bigger than most of American small towns. And the salon I go into all the time, Rumors is the name of the salon. I go in there. At the time, they bought the most hair in the country. They got a lot of hairdressers in there. They do tons and tons of extensions. And a few months later in the year, I'm at another salon right across the street. And when they give me the address, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I go in that area. I didn't even realize there was a salon that has, again, I mean, now Rumors probably had like 50 employees. This one has, I think, like 18 or 20 hairdressers. Still a really big freaking salon, right?
Shop. Yeah, it's a really nice shop.
So I'm in there, I'm teaching a class, and we're talking about extension. I'm thinking they are going to be a big account because I know our biggest accounts are right across the street. They buy a lot of hair. And the lady, I think this is like our second class, and I'm kind of wondering why they're not buying a lot of hair. First class was only 3 or 4 of them. This next class, we got 15 in the class. So I'm thinking this is the one I'm going to land it on. But it all comes down to a leader sometimes, right? So the leader, the salon owner, the one that really motivates the group. I said, so you guys have taken a class before and hadn't really taken off. Now that you all know how to do it, you think you're gonna really move this thing? She goes, I just really don't know. I don't know. I just don't think a lot of people in this area get hair extensions. I said, oh, yes, they do. Our biggest account in the whole country is, we can see them through your window. They're right across the street. She goes, oh, yeah, but that's Rumors. What the heck does that mean? What does that mean? This is the problem right inside here, mentality. What in the world? But the very first story I ever had was I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma to teach a class, and this girl drove 2 hours from a really small town and just got the belief that she could do a lot of extensions. And I had I did take a liking to her motivation, I can't even remember her name, what she looks like. I just remember liking her in a few different areas. And so I invite her to come. I think I'm going to a hair show in Birmingham, Alabama. And she's like, oh, or I'm going to be there. She's like, where can I learn next? I'm like, oh, we got a show in Birmingham in a couple months. She's like, oh, I got family there. I might stay with them and I'll come. That's a great idea. She comes, and because of the class and then the hair show, she got that extra belief. And this is kind of why I invite a lot of hairdressers to hair shows, because I know the belief comes at a hairdresser when they see so many hairdressers interested. She comes to that hair show, she goes back home. RJ starts letting me know over the next few months. For like 3 or 4 months, she became our biggest hair extension buyer in the country. And she was in a little bitty small town with a very small population. And then that's what began things like this, when people would say, I just don't know if I can sell them in my area. I'm like, if so-and-so can do it, anybody can do it. As a matter of fact, I'm in Slidell, Louisiana. Slidell was not a big town when I got started. It's grown quite a bit. Hurricane Katrina brought a lot of people in to help rebuild the city, and many of them stayed. Our town grew twice, it doubled during that Katrina, the year after Katrina in population. A lot of people stayed. It was a lot of it was a mixed bag of what came, but still we had a lot more people, and it grew. And so we had a lot more people wanting to do services. But the fact is, I started extensions when Slidell was a small town and nobody was asking for them. I had to sell it, and I made a lot of money doing it. And so it just drives me crazy when people say nobody in my area. It's a small town. We don't have the population. And then when they're in a big area of New York and they say it, it's just a mind problem.
It's a mindset. The mindset of sales is such an interesting thing, because people think selling something Okay, what is some of the hangups people have with selling is that they believe it to be disingenuous, they believe it to be taking advantage, they believe it to be smoke and mirrors. They a lot of people have this negative connotations of I don't want to be sold, but everybody wants to buy something.
Well, that's good, but why do people not want to be sold?
And this is the problem. When you go to a store, okay, my wife, Carmelina, perfect example. Her and I
I'm
cannot
just
stand.
looking. I'm just looking.
You
Don't
just,
approach
oh, I'm
me.
just looking. Yeah. Yeah. We're specifically going to a store to purchase something. Like we're going in with that mindset. We're going to purchase something. As soon as somebody comes up to us, she's like, we're just looking. We don't need any help. I'm like, the hell we don't. Where is it? I want to go get it and get out. I don't want to wander around in the whole world.
That's how I am. I say ask somebody. Right. But a
Right?
lot of people, especially in today's world, because we're so in the screen, we don't have the relationship skills. We don't want to communicate with
Well,
people. But
her
I
thing is
say,
this.
tell them what you're looking for, find it, and move on. To me, that seems easier. I can't even find my hair in this camera.
Well, so Carmelina's problem is if she asks a salesperson for help, they're going to take her to what she wants, and then she's going to be stuck feeling obligated to have to converse with them longer than needed, and they're going to try to pitch her something else she is not interested in, and then she's either going to have to buy it just to get them to shut up, or she's going to be convinced that she actually didn't think about it and she did want to buy it. Now she's spending more than her budget in her mind, or she's going to have to like feel bad that she's going to have to impolitely tell the person like shut up, I don't want to listen to you no more, I just want to leave. Like she's got so many
No,
things
and
going in her
that's
mind.
all super valid. That's kind of, I'm glad you used a real world example because that's kind of where I was going with why do people want to say they're not salesmen or don't want to be sold? It's because of all the negativity around sales. It's the too many people for a long time. And I guess even today, I mean, oh my God, a terrible movie I just rewatched with a friend recently. We only got about 30 minutes in, was The Wolf of Wall Street. He's selling some kind of securities to people. He's lying, and that's what people are afraid of. It's somebody who's really good with their words, taking advantage of people who just want to be nice, like your wife. She just wants to be nice. She doesn't want her feelings or her words challenged. And so she's willing to spend a few dollars to get out of the situation. Then she feels sold something she
She
doesn't want
feels
or
sold and
need.
used, she feels dirty, whatever the
And now
word
she
is,
doesn't like
right?
them. So now she doesn't like salesmen.
Now
And I
she's
get
upset.
that part of it.
And
I
now
do
in her
get it.
mind, yeah, she's like, I'm never going to sell any, I'm never going to do to somebody else what happened to me. Therefore, I will never sell anything to anybody. And it gets really, really messed up because then she's got to go to work, and now she's upset because now she's like, oh, now I gotta sell, this shampoo to somebody, or I gotta sell this hairspray to somebody. And it's like, well, do they really need it? Do they not really need
But
it? Am I manipulating
she went
them?
too far with it. Like you said, she said she's never going to do what got done to her, which is fine. But then the part where she went too far is I'm never going to do what was done to me. What the comment is right now is manipulation, got manipulated. So I'm never going to help anybody get what they actually need. I'm not even going to sell on the good side of it because sales it's just like anything. It can be good or bad. Like money. Some people say the money is evil. The Bible says money is evil. And the Bible doesn't say that, but that's just a common thing people say. But money, churches ask for money so they can support poor people in certain areas of the world or the country. So money must not be bad if the church is wanting the money, right? The money itself is not bad. It's the people can do good or bad with the money. Same thing with sales. People can be manipulative. They can manipulate or be manipulated by other people. And sales just happens to be one of those things. So it's a sad thing that people get manipulated and then get sold something they don't want or need. And then sales gets a bad name. But don't let that stop you from selling in the right way, because that's how you make more money and survive. And
Mhm.
and it's not a bad thing if a person wants or could use it. I mean, when you eat at a nice restaurant, People don't realize that they're selling when they do this. When you go to a nice restaurant, have a nice experience somewhere doing something, or stay at a nice hotel, you come back and you tell your friends, oh my God, you have got to. This is sales right now. This is sales. And you don't even realize it. Like, you got to go see that place. You got to go see, oh my God, they're dressed so nice. The steak was like melted in my mouth. I didn't even need to use a knife. I could cut it with a fork. You're selling. You love the experience, the steak, the taste, the ambiance. And so you make your friend go there. You make them you got to go there. We're going together. I'm bringing you tomorrow night or Friday night, and you're going to love it. And that is sales. And so if you truly believe somebody else is going to like or benefit from something that you can offer, like extensions, so many times I see girls with fine, thin hair, and I see the whole look. I'm like, look at her. She has spent a fortune on her makeup. I mean, I'm looking at that eye makeup. She spent a lot of time here. She spent a lot of money on the clothes. I can see it. Look at her heels. She'll get out of a car that she spent a lot of money on. She cares about the whole appearance of what she's looking like. But then she's got like 3 hairs that go down to here, and she's trying to grow her hair out long. And I even know she has money from all of that. And I remember this was my first experience with selling. It was in the Walmart parking lot. I was just going to Walmart, and I saw one of my, and I knew she was a dentist's wife. So I even know she could afford it, And so I remember saying, hey, Lisa. And she goes, hey. I said, God, you know what? You would love extensions. She goes, what do you mean? What's wrong with my hair? I said, there's nothing wrong with your hair. I'm just looking, I just started doing extensions, and I'm thinking, I don't mean for length. I think we could just thicken up your hair. Have you ever wanted it thicker? Of course I want my hair thicker. I didn't know you could just do it for thickness. What does that cost? I said, it's about $1,200 at the time. I just knew about what I was putting in. About 150 strands with great lengths hair is what I was doing at the time. And I said, and now I'd be like, one weft all the way around would change your appearance. It could just be 14 inches, just to thicken up where her hair is now. It was platinum blonde. So I knew she was bleaching her hair to get it a color that she thought made her more attractive. Right. She's doing everything. She doesn't know how easy or the price. All she needed to know is that I wanted to, and what it cost. And you know what? She came in a couple of days and got that $1,200 worth of extensions. And I thought, wow, it's that easy. I totally believed it. I saw her. I offered it. Yes, I risked her being like, you think I'm ugly? But that was not my intention. Actually, no, you're super pretty, but you could be even more attractive with thicker hair. And I know that's what you want. I can tell from everything you're trying to do, all the things. I think I won't even go there. She's had some plastic surgeries, multiple plastic surgeries. So I know she's trying to increase the appearance.
Yeah, she cares, right?
She cares, right. And so if you care and you know that they're going to like getting hair extensions to thicken, to highlight, the low light, maybe to lengthen, then it's not the manipulative type of sales. It's the helping type of sales, in my opinion. What do you think?
So then I'm agree with you on that one. We're going hard on the sales side of things. The artistry side of things is a struggle.
Well,
is really a struggle.
I'm an artist, not a salesman. Can you not be both?
And I think this is where the disconnect comes in. Selling is an art form in itself.
That's true.
Because you could be good at it, you could be bad at it. It is a skill set. Some people are just not good at doing it, right?
That's a good point.
But then artistry, you could fairly say the both thing too. Some people are creative and some people aren't creative. So you have a technical brain or you have an imagination, like you have a creative brain. And some people have a little bit of both, and all that aside, and and that's fine too. So now what happens is, for the person, it's a personality trait. For the person who's very creative, they tend to be a lot less organized. They tend to be a lot more scattered. And because their imagination is just running wild, that's why they are more that's why they have the ability to be more creative.
Maybe I am creative. I'm real unorganized, but I never thought.
No, you're just messy. No. You're just...
Probably so.
I'm teasing.
That's fun.
Whereas like a salesperson's mentality is a lot more rigid. It's a lot more structured. It's a lot more 1+1 = 2. And to a creative person, 1 and 1 could be 11. This doesn't have to be 2. It just depends on how you look at it. So the issue comes into, how do I take something that I know how to create? How do I bring that to the masses? How do I convince somebody that I want this much for it? Because also the creative person looks at something and says, I made this and I want to share it with the world.
Right.
And I don't necessarily care. I want to share it to the world, almost borderline like a charity thing. I just want to put it out there because it's a beautiful thing that I want to give.
Right.
And they want to give a piece of their heart or the piece of their mind or a piece of their creativity out there, right? So they don't realize that there could be a monetary value to that. Like, look at art. I don't understand paintings.
Me neither.
I can look at a painting and I could say, that looks nice. But then there's people out there and they go, I could feel the artist's, soul coming from this painting, and I will pay $5 million for it. And I know I'm making fun of
I don't get it either. I agree. We don't even have much art hung up in our house. But then, our friend Jude, the karate guy, he is an artist. He paints things and he buys some pretty expensive stuff that's hanging on the walls. And he's got some cheap stuff on the walls. I couldn't tell you the difference, but many people could.
But that's but many people could, right? So you have some people that paint and they just put it out there because they want to put it out there. And then like Bob Ross. The only time my mother would allow us to be quiet and not come into the room with the slipper to see what we was doing was when we was watching Bob Ross do painting, okay, after school. Any other time,
big curly hair?
Yes. The big afro, the big curly hair,
So I think here's another big disconnect that you're talking about. Some people, John commented, "What's Bernard eating?" We're doing a cooking show, and it's little square pretzels filled with a little peanut butter nugget. I've only got 2 left.
So delicious.
Well, we're on here for an hour and a half. I got to have a couple of snacks. I got my coffee, my water, my snacks, my hairdo in the back in case I get bored. But the disconnect that you just made, I don't even know if you notice it, but I think that this, again, is an opinion. But being creative, being giving, creating things that better people's lives, humanity's lives, you can either give them away for free or try to make money off of them. And I don't know that either one is right or wrong. People have opinions on that. Right. I know the only autobiography I ever read was Benjamin Franklin. He invented the Franklin stuff. He invented a lot of things. He was quite an inventor of his time. And he already, and I think this is part of the reason, he already had done enough things to make him successful. He lived well in the time. He didn't need the money. And he was a prolific inventor. He invented things that would help humanity. And one of his personal rules was, if I can create something that betters all of humanity, I shouldn't benefit from it financially.
Okay.
That's fine, but I don't think it's wrong if you do. It's just that was his rule. So
but that's that opinion. That's that creative mindset.
He made the Franklin stove, which is a new way to heat homes and boil water and quite a few other things. But it was different than the fireplace. It was that thing that sat in the middle of the room that vented out, and you could do much more with it. It burned wood more efficiently. But he gave the plans to a local welder, showed him how to make it, told him all the benefits, and that guy ended up making a lot of money over the years of his life because Benjamin Franklin showed him and taught him how to do it so he could do it. And Ben said, I don't need to make money off of it, because his personal rule was he didn't need to make money off of things that benefited humanity. And so, so that doesn't mean it's wrong if you come up with a great idea that helps people, especially if you're having trouble paying your bills or eating and you need to survive and you have a great idea that can help people. Why not? Then the other side of it, like big pharma, people talk about, some people charge way too much for what they've done, and it does take advantage. So that's where there's so much negativity from the people that take advantage from one end to the other, or charge when they shouldn't, or then you've got that argument where, like your wife, I just had a bad experience in the sales experience. I don't want any part of it at all. They don't separate, like there's good and bad sales. There's good and bad uses for money. And that's all I'm saying. You as a hairdresser have services that people can benefit from. And I think when we were on Facebook earlier and you said, if they don't know you do it, how would they know to ask?
How would they know to ask?
So how do you let them know, Eddie? How do you let people know?
So this is an experiment that I did at my salon. I did. I got my set of brushes. I got a brand new set of brushes, round brushes and paddle brushes. Okay. I laid them all across the countertop of my station, and I left them out there at the end of the day. I did not put them away. And then I went and got a command hook that I pasted onto the mirror.
Oh.
And then I hung the onstage color ring and the well, I got two command hooks. So I put the onstage color ring and I put the color ring on both sides, one on each side.
Yep.
And I did not put it away at the end of the day either. And then I left my foils. I left a stack of foils on, so I have my station and then I have a rollabout. So I left a stack of foils on and my clips on the rollabout. And I left it. I didn't put it away. And as I was leaving, the owner of the salon, she calls me and she goes, "Hey man, you didn't clean up at the end of your day." I go, "Yes,
marketing."
That's what? As I said, "Yes, I did clean up." I go look. You could put the white glove and run it across, like you can run it across the counter. I said, "I definitely cleaned. I sanitized. I did everything." She goes, "But you didn't put anything away." I go, "That's right. I did not. I left it all out there." She goes, Well, it looks messy. I don't like it. I said, "It's fine. Don't worry about it." I said, "I'm going to be back tomorrow anyways. It's fine." Well, sure enough, I went back the next day. Do you think anything was on where I left it? My color ring was on somebody else's station. 3 of my round brushes were gone. Okay. That stack of foil, half of it was gone. And I start doing my first client. One of the stylists comes over. She hands me back my round brush. She goes, "Oh my God, I needed a round brush. And I'm so sorry. I saw it. I grabbed it." She goes, "That round brush is amazing. What kind of round brush is that?"
Ergo, right?
So yeah. So I'm telling her, it's the Ergo. It's the 53. It's a good size, blah, blah, blah. So she walks away. Now I'm sitting there doing a client. The client goes, "Do I need one of those?"
RJ just walked in here to get a protein bar. He said I was making him hungry eating those pretzels.
You just sold a protein bar. Look at that.
Sold. Yeah.
Right? So, but here's the client. My client hears the stylist apologize to me for taking one of my stuff and asking wow, this is really good. So the social proof and the testimonial from the stylist convinced my client sitting in my chair to ask me.
I thought this was going bad. I thought all your stuff got stolen or put up by the owner.
No,
but now I see where
it came out to be an amazing thing out of it, right?
Yeah.
She goes, do I need one of those brown brushes?
Yes, you do.
I'm like, yes, you do. Well, let's talk about this.
Right. Maybe you don't.
The whole thing.
Unless you're manipulative. Yes, everyone needs all the sizes.
And then so a couple of days goes by and I got to go find my coloring and I got to bring it back and put it back on the command hook. Well, I walk in one night and all of a sudden, like when you walk in, all of a sudden everything gets quiet. I walk in, everybody gets quiet. They turn around, they're looking at me. And one of the client has the coloring sitting on top of her head and it's all just hanging down over her head. And they all looking at me. I'm like, why is everybody quiet all of a sudden? They start laughing hysterically because, she's got the ring. She goes, "I'm so sorry. I couldn't help myself. I saw it. It was so pretty. I started looking at it. One thing led to another. And,
now
I just
want extension."
And now she does get hair extensions. Because at first they didn't understand what it was. They just started playing with it.
And she was another client. She was another hairdresser's client. And now she's yours? Or does that other hairdresser do
No. She's the other stylist still. Like the other stylist does her hair extensions. I helped her with the consultation. I helped her with everything, ordering hair and all
you
that.
helped her sell it by putting the coloring out.
I helped her by putting my ring out, So, and that's the whole thing. So everybody sees the foils. Everybody sees. The only thing I don't leave out is the shears because somebody did snag my shears and I never got it back. So I don't leave my shears out anymore.
Right. But good thing you just get those $20 ones from Sally's.
That's what I should. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should put the cheapy shears out there. Then if somebody snags them, they won't want them.
With a little electric wire, drill a hole in the bottom of your station and hook a little electric wire. When they touch them, they get
They
zapped.
get zapped.
That's what they.
But but this goes to the whole thing of, if nobody knows what you do, then how is somebody supposed to know you do anything? And if you want to share your art form with people and you want to share your artistry with the world, how would anybody know that you're creative or you're an artist if you don't let anybody in? Some people feel it's embarrassing. Some people do it kind of secretly. Some people do it for their own purposes, right? But then there are some people that wish other people can see it. But then there's a certain level of nervousness as well too, of, oh my God, what if somebody judges me? I don't want to hear somebody say I suck when I think I'm really good at it. Well, all of that is a sales pitch into itself as well too. Unless you don't have any friends, then you are not. That's the only way you could be considered not a salesperson. Because if you have one friend, you somehow put yourself out there to the world, and that person liked you.
Even the one, come on, that one has to survive to get a job. Don't you have to? Trying to fix my hair on this. See it in the mirror, in the camera, which is like,
I am loving it. This is just hilarious to me.
To get a job, don't you have to sell yourself to get a job?
Look, even more basic than that, as a child growing up, you had to sell yourself to your own mother to let her buy you something or let you go out and play or go out and do something. Anybody who had a Nintendo,
let me say, promise,
I will do all my homework. I'll always have my homework done before I play Nintendo or Atari or whatever.
We are all salespeople, whether we believe it or not. I think we should close here, but I have a good idea for next week, because I think that you started to cross the line into another topic.
I always cross the line on
not
something.
In a bad way. Into another topic, because I love this term, but I think it just comes off the tongue smoothly backwards, like this camera backwards.
What's that?
When people talk about taking a sales and marketing class, when it really should be a marketing before sales. I think we should talk about marketing next week, what marketing is, because we're talking about sales right now, but you don't get to sell unless you marketed, right? Isn't it right?
I mean, look at this whole stream today. We sold the idea of being a salesperson as not a negative thing.
Because you beg people to subscribe. So
twice, hit the subscribe twice if you really like what we
said. That's so stupid. So I went live on TikTok while I was waiting for you to invite me to this StreamYard thing, and I didn't say a word because I realized some of the I'll talk to RJ a little bit, but I've watched some videos on YouTube where not one word spoken. So I get it. You few people that comment that I talk too much. I mean, normally I'm a teacher and teaching requires talking, which is so stupid when you guys tell me I talk too much on YouTube. But while I'm teaching a haircut or a hair replacement, but anyway, I thought, you know what? I can learn from even the idiots that comment on my stuff. I'm going to try no talking. And I have to get this lady prepared because I did the haircut the other day. You know, I did this.
How many rolls of duct tape did you go through?
So this head, I don't know if you remember her. We've been doing a bunch of different haircuts, and she's got I can't get it in the camera, right? Because I don't know which way to go. This is the rainbow, you know, red, orange, yellow, other way, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And you can kind of, I did where we pull it straight up on top of the head for the layers. And you can kind of see where the layers fall compared to, and I just thought, you know what? I need to smooth this out so I can take some pictures of it to edit a video later. I didn't have any of it styled yet. So I put it on that thing and I just put my phone on the tripod. And I just went live on TikTok and started flat ironing her hair. And the TikTok tells me this video performed 65% better than all your other videos. And I was like, I didn't say a freaking word. Maybe those idiots that are telling me I talk too much are right. Idiot was just my opinion. No, but most people I think appreciate the words because they want to know how to do it. But you don't really need to say much when you're flat ironing with a little bend under. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I just did it, and it was interesting. A lot of people like to watch, but that's a bit of marketing, and we'll explain better what marketing actually is next week, I believe. I'm
Okay,
going to stop
we'll do
there
that.
and say that it really should be called marketing and sales. Just doesn't sound right like that, huh? Let's go take a marketing and sales class. It's always called a sales and marketing class, but the sales can't come till the marketing comes. So you got to market before you sell. So why aren't they calling it a marketing and sales class?
That's what we're gonna then that's what we will discuss next week. That is your homework, everybody, for watching.
What
And when
is
you join us
marketing?
next week at 10 a.m. on
What's
Thursday,
the
then
difference?
you get to
Yeah,
see
what's the difference in sales and marketing? Tell me that in the comments.
yeah, what do you believe to be the difference, yeah, in the sales and the marketing. Don't hit subscribe twice, hit it 3 times.
Actually, Brennan told me, he's been wanting to tell me for a while, that hitting subscribe twice does actually do something different than subscribing and unsubscribing. He
Oh,
said it does.
really?
I don't even know what it does. I don't know. I don't remember if it was good or bad, but you need to practice with that and then never say it again if it's bad. I got to run. I got
All
another.
right, guys. Thanks for watching.
I got a sales and marketing meeting actually next. I got a social media marketing lady meeting me next.
We'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye, guys.